Good morning, Highland. I'm having some technical difficulties. It's not loading on my computer. Can you hear me on my phone? Let me know if you can hear me okay. I'm having some technical difficulties, and so I'm on my phone instead of my computer. Good morning, everybody. Hi, Bonnie. Hi, Lauren. Can you all hear me okay? Yay, you can hear me. Thank you, Vi. We're going to wait another minute or two and let some more folks join us. Good morning, Gloria and Lewis and Missy. It's good to see you all through writing on Facebook. Okay, so this is awkward for me. I'm not good at talking to myself, so I love the feedback. Hi, Kim. Jane Parker just joined us. Walter's here. I guess you all can see too who's coming on and joining us. Hi, Carol. Carol and the boys are getting ready to go on a walk. It's a beautiful morning. They're actually repaving our street, and they're right outside our front door right now, so I hope that you can't hear it. While we're waiting for folks to join, I'll tell you about this piece of art that's behind me. See it? It looks maybe a little bit like cultural appropriation hanging in my dining room. I hope that's not the case. My grandma and grandpa were missionaries and lived in China for a couple of years, and that is embroidered silk. That was a gift to them from one of their students. They taught ESL at a Chinese university there. So when they passed away, I was lucky enough to receive the gift. And I love it, which is why I'm sitting in front of it. And I miss them. And I know that they would be calm, non-anxious presence in the midst of this pandemic. So I think of them often. All right, I have a singing bowl right here. So I'm gonna chime the bowl, and then we'll listen to it reverberate for a minute, and then I'll get started. I'm gonna light this candle and see, it might be a distraction to the light. We'll see how it goes. Well, I hope that you all are having a good morning. My kids are upstairs playing right now, and I threatened them that if they start fighting loudly enough that I can hear them, that there will be consequences later. So hopefully the train that they are building will be enough to keep them occupied for a few minutes. Hi, Bea. Hi, Dominique. It's so good to see you all. I hope that you all, as this continues, are finding some ways to be in community with one another. And I, for one, am finding Facebook incredibly helpful. This is outside of my comfort zone, and yet it's worth the risk, I think. As Perry talked a little bit about that too, of maybe it's insecurity, maybe it's fear of not knowing what to say, and yet here we are trying to find community, taking risks in new ways, hopefully not taking risks in other ways by keeping ourselves safe. So what I want to talk a little bit about this morning is a reflection on where I have gone the last couple days to try and find some peace. Cheryl Davis put on Facebook yesterday this beautiful poem by John O'Donohue, and she said when times of anxiety strike her, she goes to John O'Donohue. And I've been thinking about that. Where do I go when I'm in a shame cloud or embarrassed? I know so many of us go to Brene Brown. And when I am stressed and needing some relief, I find a good novel or a good memoir. Hi, Renee. Hi, Lula. Hi, everybody. But when theology is challenging me and I don't know which end is up, or I wonder about the presence of God and where God is active in the world, I go to Barbara Brown Taylor because she is wise. And she's been in the church business for a long time, and now she's in the academy, and she always has a good word for me. And so this morning, I hope that she's going to have a good word for you. So I'm going to actually do a reading for us. This is her book, An Altar in the World, and the subtitle is A Geography of Faith. And yes, I see people commenting that you also love Barbara Brown Taylor. It's hard to go wrong with her. So this is what she says. This book is actually a conversation about what is spiritual practice. And she walks through different spiritual practices that ground her in her spiritual life. And so she says this at the introduction. Hi, Erin. It's good to see you. Hi, Autumn. Welcome. I'm getting ready to read from Barbara Brown Taylor, and David just said that we need to play progressive Christian bingo this morning. This is a joke. On the young adult retreat, we had a bingo board, and anytime we were progressive Christians, then we put a marker on the board. So other things on the board were Mary Oliver. Help me remember, you all. Type some other things. I can't remember now. Hi, Jean. Hi, Mary Ida. I'm getting ready to read for us from Barbara Brown Taylor, and she says this. The treasure we seek requires no lengthy expedition, no expensive equipment, no superior aptitude or special company. All we lack is the willingness to imagine that we already have everything we need. The only thing missing is our consent to be where we are. Let's unpack that. That was one of the squares on our progressive Christian bingo. As we do unpack that, I wonder what it's like and how it would free us to know that we have everything we need for the spiritual life right here in front of us, even as we are separate from our community, and community is such a part of the spiritual life. There's one other section I'm going to read for us. I want to piggyback on what she said earlier. That was another thing on the bingo square. This is awesome. I'm just going to keep referencing that. God having no pronouns, that's a good one, Erin. And one of the reasons that I love Barbara, because she is sure to always use either gender neutral language for God or just God in place of a pronoun. And B, I don't think that's anything that we need to push back on. And I know you would agree. Oh, I love these comments. Say more about that. Okay, I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to read what Barbara has to say. This is a good 3 paragraphs. So hang with me, and I think you'll understand the relevance on why I'm going to read this for us. I hope you don't mind being read to. She writes, as important as it is to mark the places where we meet God, I worry about what happens when we build a house for God. I am speaking no longer of the temple in Jerusalem, but of the house of worship on the corner where people of faith meet to say their prayers, because saying them together reminds them of who they are better than saying them alone. Isn't that beautiful? How does she come up with sentences like that? She goes on, this is good, and yet all good things cast shadows. Do we build God a house so that we can choose when to see God? Do we build God a house in lieu of having God stay at ours? Plus, what happens to the rest of the world when we build 4 walls, even 4 gorgeous walls, cap them with a steepled roof, and designate that the house of God? What happens to the riverbanks, the mountaintops, the deserts, and the trees? What happens to people who never show up in our houses of God? The people of God are not only creatures capable of praising God, after all. There are also wolves and seals. There are also wild geese and humpback whales. According to the Bible, even trees can clap their hands. Francis of Assisi loved singing hymns with his siblings. And I have this wonderful, next time you're in my office, I'll show you an icon of Francis with the animals gathered around him hanging on my wall. And she says, Francis loved singing hymns with his siblings, who included not only Brother Bernard and Sister Claire, but also Brother Sun and Sister Moon. Francis could not have told you the difference between the sacred and the secular if you had twisted his arm behind his back. And yet that's a category we're always trying to create, right? The sacred and the secular. He read the world as reverently as he read the Bible. For him, a leper was as kissable as a bishop's ring, a single bird as much a messenger of God as a cloud full of angels. Francis had no discretion. He did not know where to draw the line between the church and the world. For this reason, among other things, Francis is remembered as a saint. But here's the point. Of course, Francis also built a church. In a vision he had, as vivid as Jacob's vision of the divine ladder, God called upon Francis to rebuild the church. Unsure what church God meant, Francis chose a ruined one near where he lived. He recruited all kinds of people to help him build it. Some of them just came to watch, and before they knew it, were mixing cement. Others could not lift a single brick without help. But that worked out, since it led them to meet more people than they might have met if they had been stronger. To most of them, building the church became more important than finishing it. Building it together gave people who were formerly invisible to each other meaning, purpose, and worth. And when it was done at last, Francis's church did not stand as a shelter from the world. It stood as a reminder that the whole world was God's house. And then Barbara says, I knew that when I was young, and then I forgot. I think one of the reasons I wanted to share that this morning is because we're not in the house of Highland Baptist Church, the steeple and the stone walls and the stained glass windows right now. And I think all of us are really, really missing that. I know I am. I'm missing the beauty of the space, the serenity of the sanctuary, the energy of all of us when we are gathered there this morning. I miss hugging you all. I miss giving handshakes. I miss the smiles. I miss Reese and Sandy Little standing in the lobby with the other welcomers. You all have such an amazing ministry, and now that I'm missing that, I'm not taking that for granted anymore. And yet I wonder, how do we continue to pray to God? How do we continue to discover God at work in the world? How do we continue to engage the divine energy that exists where 2 or 3 are gathered when we're not allowed to be in groups of more than 10? Where is that energy at work in the world? I hope that you can sense it still. As much as this candle is lit here or the singing bowl sings for us, which I'll chime again in a minute, God is still at work around us, within and beyond. It is the energy that connects and sustains us. And so here's what I want you to know this morning. More than anything else, I want you to know that you are not alone. That even as we are socially distanced, as some of us are quarantined, Laura Barclay was joking with Ryan Eller, will you be my quarantine? Which I think is wonderful. Even as we are not accustomed to going out in the ways that we are used to going out, you are not alone. There is this vast energy and universe around us that is seeking to swallow you up into love, into compassion. And so rest in that this morning. And as we continue to rest in that, and as we continue to read the bubbles of those who are watching and the hearts of comments that we appreciate and love, I wonder, and I invite you into conversation with me right now on this live feed. What are you doing to remember that God is with us? What are you doing to remember that you are not isolated and that you have a community of believers around you? I invite you to go ahead and comment there so that we can get some ideas about that. The New York Times has an article this morning on things to do to preserve while you are at home, and it's a wonderful list. I actually can't read it for you right now because it was on my phone and I'm doing the live video unexpectedly on my phone. But one of them was have a virtual happy hour with your friends. I know the young adults are doing a great job of connecting in the evenings over Netflix. Some of the other ideas were make sure that you're pausing during the day to stop and to stretch. You don't need all of this fancy equipment to use your body in your home and to reconnect your body and your spirit and your soul. I've been coloring. Here, I'll show you what I did last night. And I'll try not to catch it on fire with this candle that is right in front of me. Coloring, this coloring book is the Calm Coloring Book. Beautiful images to soothe your anxious soul. And here are my tulips that I did last night. What are you doing to preserve? Lula says that she's listening to Highland Staff every day. Erin says lots of Zoom calls and Netflix parties. David Bannister watched a drag show on Facebook Live while FaceTiming with his friends, which is totally fabulous. Hi, Betty. I hope that you're having a good morning. Lewis said the Zoom Bible study gatherings. I know that those have been deeply important for you, as our Bible studies are the ways that we find community and connection so tangibly in our family of faith at Highland. What else are you all up to right now? Hi, Diane. Last night, we were so stir crazy in our family that we hopped in the car and drove all the way to Frankfurt to get milkshakes at Cookout. And it was wonderful because on the way there, the kids slept. And so the quiet was incredibly nourishing for Tyler and I. And then on the way back, we listened to a Spotify playlist and sang and acted crazy and silly while we were drinking our milkshakes. Skype and FaceTime coffee and meals with friends, B says, is amazing. Oh, I love this one from Michelle, looking through old photos and making videos for others. Walking, reading, journaling. Oh, I know, my journal is out of control right now. I just had to buy a new one. Walks in the parks and enjoying the beauty of nature. Isn't it so true? I guess those of you with allergies are struggling as everything blooms, but those of us without the allergies, and even you with allergies, get to participate in the beauty. It's so interesting that as spring is around us and evolving and nature is calling us back to God, that we are stuck indoors. So maybe one of my prayers for you today is that you'll get to embrace the beauty of what's going around us. Diane's doing Facebook live stream exercises. I love it. We all have Fran White to help us dance. Fran, please don't stop that. You are nourishing us in so many ways, especially with the gift of laughter. All right, friends, as you go from this space today, may you go in the love of Christ, in the comfort of the Holy Spirit, trusting that God is alive and with us to sustain us, nourish us, and comfort us. I'm going to do it one more time just because I love it so much. Can you still hear it? Friends, I love you very much, and I miss you. And this isn't going to be forever. We will be together again soon. Remember, you are not alone, and God loves you more than anything in this entire world. Have a great day. Bye.